When you're welding tubes and pipes together, the hardest part of the whole project is getting them to fit in the first place, okay? So what we do, we've got an adjustable template that all you have to do is press it in and it shows you exactly the shape that you need to cut. So you slide it over the tube, trace it out, and you know exactly what shape to cut for each joint, okay? So that's a pretty simple one. You can do that in about 10 minutes. Now, if you're doing like a roll cage where you've got a lot of bracing coming together at the same spot, the end cuts get a little bit more complicated. There's the end cut for the next piece.
Wow.
Isn't that something? You can imagine if you're trying to eyeball what that looks like and how long it would take you.
No.
Yeah. This is just trace and cut. Slip it over, trace it out, you know exactly what shape to cut. Shouldn't take you more than about 15 minutes.
Okay? Like a plasma cutter or something.
Plasma cutter and a die grinder, you just set. So here's where it really pays off. If you wanted to put a tube in, you don't cut just one end. You've got to cut both ends. So here's how to lay out both ends of the tube before you ever make a cut. Cut the two ends, put it in, and it's ready to weld. Say I want to put a tube from this elbow down to the table, okay? What I do is take 2 scraps of tubing and a scrap of angle iron, and I make basically an adjustable length tube.
Right.
So I'll come in here and I say, this is where I want the real tube to go. Slide them out to where they touch. Make sure I've got all my angle adjustments just to where I want them. And then I'll tack weld this tube and this tube. Okay, so they're sitting here like this in space. Take the same piece of angle iron and put a center line down these 2 tubes. Okay? The reason for the center line, we can have perfect cuts, but if we twist them in relationship to each other, they're not going to fit.
You line it up right there, slide it on each side.
You got it. Here's my center line. Here's the gap. I'm going to follow that right up that center line that I put on this stub. I'll make a pattern like so. Now here's the trick. You take a silver Sharpie or something similar and you put a small dot in this gap right here, right behind the plastic housing, because that's going to tell you how long to make this piece. So here's my material that I want to cut. I've put a center line on it. I slip the tool right over, make sure I'm on center line, draw my end cut, and then put that small dot right back in here behind the housing. So that end's all laid out. Now I want to lay out the other end. This is tacked in place, and I'm just going to make sure I follow that center line down. I'll make my pattern. And now all I have to do is take a tape measure and measure from this point up to the dot that I left on this little stub.
You know exactly how long.
It's exactly how long it's going to be. Suppose this is 7 7/16 of an inch. I mean, you can measure it really accurately.
And get just a perfect fit.
Perfect fit. You put it on your tube. Okay. Remember the dot I left up here. I'll measure out 7 7/16. Slide the tool back so it touches, make sure I'm on the center line, and now I lay out this end. So what I've got is a tube that's got layout for a perfect cut on both ends for where you want to put it. And it goes where you want it to go, not where it wants to go. They're simple tools, they're lifetime guarantee, okay? Anything goes wrong with them, other than maybe if you run over them with your truck, I can't help you.
Yeah.
But we'll take care of any parts, maintenance you need.